under-16 squads have just been selected for a hectic programme over the next 12 months. Many of the players selected will take part in the under-16 World Championships being held in Scotland in June. And as David Livingstone...
This is Andy Roxburgh, off duty as manager of Scotland's national side. He's at the Inverclyde Training Centre in Largs to work with the stars of the future. In the process, he's anxious to dispel some of the myths about coaching.
Pass and I'm off.
We're simply trying to develop them as football players, and that's two things. That's first of all their basic skills, which I'm sure everybody recognises, but the second thing that's often missed is their knowledge of the game, and often in Scotland that has been lacking, and that is an awareness. I'm not talking about tactics now, I'm not talking about systems of play, I'm talking about simple basic awareness of how to play football, how to make space, how to move, how to support people and so on. So we're trying to develop that in these young players.
Roxburgh and his assistant Craig Brown are appalled at the notion that they're drilling young players.
No, because I think the word we would use is educating them, and if you educate anyone you actually free them. If you drill somebody then you obviously close down the options, and what we try to do is to show them the variations, the possibilities. They'll also bring their own as well, and hopefully through all of that they will then make the appropriate choices and the right choices when they play football. The last thing we're about is drilling them. This is our insurance policy for the future, and what we're trying to do here is to develop the future. Alec McLeish's and Graham Souness's and all these kind of people.
The presence of the national coach is greatly appreciated by officials of the Schools Football Association and the boys themselves.
There's a great spin-off. The boys, I think they realise that they're learning from the best coaches, in fact the best coaches anywhere, and there's a spin-off as far as they're concerned. They take it back to schools, they take it back to their boys' clubs, and as far as I'm concerned it helps Scottish football in the whole.
It means a lot to us because we can learn quite a bit from him. He's a good coach and we can learn loads from him. When being with the national side, we get tips from him.
Like with Andy Roxburgh and Craig Brown, they put a bit of fun into it as well, a bit of joking in that.
So you learn something about your own abilities as well as the coaching side of things?
Right, yes.
What kind of things do you enjoy best?
We get a lot of shooting, passing, heading and that, a lot of good finishing that. That's what I like that best.
And you think it's going to help you on the park?
Yeah, definitely will, definitely.
Wait in the angle like that, and all I'm going to do is take...
Despite the pressures of taking the senior side through to what will hopefully be a place in the World Cup finals in Italy, Andy Roxburgh sees the coaching of youth football as a vital part of his job.
There, check, and we're off.
Our job is actually twofold. One is to try and win the next game with the international team, and the second aspect of our job is to develop players for the future, and that's what we're doing this week, and I can assure you it's a pleasure to do that.
Andy Roxburgh ending that report by David Livingstone. And now tonight's main news headlines with Mary